Oh yeah, sippers, welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast with me, Shane Todd. It's a guest episode. I'm not going to have a long introduction at all because this is one of the most favourite episodes of the podcast that I've done in 99 episodes. My guest is Sugar Sean McComb, aka the public nuisance. Sean is one of the leading lights of this generation of Belfast boxers, of boxers from here that are just doing really well on the world stage. Caught up with him just after his most recent fight, and if you, like me, have been following him on social media, you see just kind of how much of a positive guy he is, and just the fact that he has a real good outlook on life. So he came on the podcast, such a down to earth guy. We talked about a lot of funny things, a lot of serious things, and I'd definitely love to get him on the podcast again. I think you'll really enjoy this. And we also talked about what he was doing in Pakistan. Anyway, before we get wired into this episode, let me plug three things. Number one, I'm doing a second night at the SSE Arena, 13th of November, my brand new show Chancer. Tickets went on sale on Friday. Blown away by the amount of tickets that have been sold. You can get them on Ticketmaster or the SSE website. But yeah, doing a second night, which is unbelievable. But there you go. Also got to plug Patreon, patreon.com/teawithmepodcast, where you can get the bonus episode every Monday of the podcast. You obviously get this one, everyone gets this one on a Wednesday. And then we fill in the gaps on Patreon. So on Tuesday, we do a morning breakfast episode. On Thursday, the same. And on Friday, we do it, but it's a live one on Zoom. So you get loads more content. Patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. Plus, there's a few of my old stand-up specials on there. There's one from the Waterfront Hall. We are sponsored by Manscaped.com, as always. Manscaped is the number one below the belt men's grooming. And that's not a pun saying below the belt because Sean's on the podcast. I always say that. Yeah, Manscaped have the Lawnmower 3.0 for essentially, let's just say you make sure that the grass is neat in your private garden. If you know what I'm saying, your pubic area. It's essentially a shaver for your pubic area. And if you want to do kind of under the belly button or whatever, you do that, but sometimes you might like to leave that because it's cute. Anyway, you go to manscaped.com, use the discount code TEAWITHME for 20% off and free shipping. They have pretty much anything you can think of. If you ever thought, does anyone ever make moisturizer or deodorant for your balls? Manscaped. They do a great travel kit. I use, producer Dan uses it. And you can get that too. You know, it's a great gift, I think, for Mother's Day if you want to get her if you want to go on Manscaped and give your mum that gift to then give to your dad, because in a way your mum's getting the gift of a smooth surface. Manscaped.com, tea with me for 20% off and free shipping. They've got a cologne as well. They brought out a new cologne. It's great. We 50ml spray. It's hypoallergenic, cruelty free, dye free, paraben free, and 100% vegan. You know, in case that's your thing. Manscaped.com/teawithme. Manscaped.com, use the code TEAWITHME, 20% off and free shipping. Your balls and body will thank you. Let's get straight into this episode with my man Sean McComb. This is a Tea With Me podcast. Hope you enjoy this episode. Have been sold. You can get them on Ticketmaster or the SSE website. But yeah, doing a second night, which is unbelievable. But there you go. Also got to plug Patreon, patreon.com/teawithmepodcast, where you can get the bonus episode every Monday of the podcast. You obviously get this one, everyone gets this one on a Wednesday. And then we fill in the gaps on Patreon. So on Tuesday, we do a morning breakfast episode. On Thursday, the same. And on Friday, we do it, but it's a live one on Zoom. So you get loads more content. Patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. Plus, there's a few of my old stand-up specials on there. There's one from the Waterfront Hall. We are sponsored by Manscaped.com, as always. Manscaped is the number one below the belt men's grooming. And that's not a pun saying below the belt because Sean's on the podcast. I always say that. Yeah, Manscaped have the Lawnmower 3.0 for essentially, let's just say you make sure that the grass is neat in your private garden. If you know what I'm saying, your pubic area. It's essentially a shaver for your pubic area. And if you want to do kind of under the belly button or whatever, you do that, but sometimes you might like to leave that because it's cute. Anyway, you go to manscaped.com, use the discount code TEAWITHME for 20% off and free shipping. They have pretty much anything you can think of. If you ever thought, does anyone ever make moisturizer or deodorant for your balls? Manscaped. Manscaped. They do a great travel kit. I use, producer Dan uses it. And you can get that too. You know, it's a great gift, I think, for Mother's Day if you want to get her if you want to go on Manscaped and give your mum that gift to then give to your dad, because in a way your mum's getting the gift of a smooth surface. Manscaped.com, tea with me for 20% off and free shipping. They've got a cologne as well. They brought out a new cologne. It's great. We 50 milliliter spray. It's hypoallergenic, cruelty free, dye free, paraben free, and 100% vegan. You know, in case that's your thing. Manscaped.com/teawithmepod. Manscaped.com, use the code teawithme, 20% off and free shipping. Your balls and body will thank you. Let's get straight into this episode with my man Sean McComb. This is a Tea With Me podcast. Hope you enjoy this episode. Sean, the first question for every guest on the podcast, because the podcast is called Tea With Me, first question is always, do you drink tea?
Big tea drinker. Only recently started drinking coffee.
Same.
Was always a tea man.
Yep,
my dad's
same.
a big tea man, and the number one rule in my house was tea from the teapot. You never put the tea bag in the cup.
Here's the thing, if there's more than two people having tea,
Yeah.
teapot, anyone, are you saying, would you put a pot on for yourself?
If I put because you can do more than one cup with one.
Yeah.
See, we're from Turflaw, so only one tea bag. You know, you can get 4 cups of tea out of that, so it's like, right, get that teapot on, one tea bag, stick it on, and then just leave it simmering on the stove for...
But the second cup, if you get the second cup quick, happy days. If you take your time with the second cup, people pretend to enjoy the second cup,
100%.
but you don't.
I agree. Because then you put them on again, and sometimes you top yours up.
Yeah.
It goes dark again, but...
Yeah.
When you've a 4-pack of Twixes there, it's sweet. It's all good.
How did you said your dad's a big tea man? You just started coffee. Like, how did he take that when you sort of came out to him as
Don't know.
a coffee drinker?
See, my dad's very he wouldn't socialise much outside, so he would never go to a cafe and drink a coffee. He would be like, "What the fuck's that? Who goes to a cafe?" And he's like, "What are you?" Whereas I started. Obviously it's become a big thing the last couple of years where people go out to coffee shops and even a group of lads out with the lads and go for a coffee.
I saw it in Starbucks in Botanic just before lockdown. I remember seeing about 6 school kids sitting, and there must have been about 11, 12. Ties loosened a wee bit, and there was a fella drinking like a flat white, and he looked straight, like he was talking to his mates about his problems, and I was like, what are you doing? It's like waiting for a meal. It's like when you're in Nando's and you see, 7, 12-year-olds just sitting having a chat. Oh, let's go for a meal. Why are you not making golf balls at a driving range?
Times have changed.
Yeah.
I went to Manchester with my dad to watch a Man City game, and the next day, obviously, we had a few pints and we went to the City match. Man City won with a else, and on the way home, I was like, "Fucking Dan, I'm gonna go get a coffee here." My dad went, "Get a coffee? Fuck you! I'm way to Wetherspoons." I was like, "Fuck, I'll get a coffee at Wetherspoons."
It's the fact that it makes him annoyed. You know what I mean? He's not even like, "Well, I wouldn't do it, but that's fine." But like,
you get a coffee, I'm gonna get a pint. It's like
proper anger.
Serious, fuck, you get a pint then.
Here's what my dad does. My dad will go into Starbucks or like a Nero, whatever. Oh, can I have a wee bit of hot water? Now they won't charge, especially my dad's a pensioner, they won't charge you for hot water. They go, "Oh, that wee man just wants hot water." Tea bag in his pocket.
Tea bag straight in the pocket.
Straight in. Not paying for it.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
He's ahead of times. He's loving it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm new to coffee as well, and you just feel a wee bit more refined drinking it.
I do. Well, I'm hyper enough as it is.
Yeah.
See now I drink. I seen that you were drinking there the black Americano. Fuck, I would be jumping off walls. It's strong gear.
Yeah, but yours is the same. You just have milk in it.
But it just gives you a wee bit of ease. I feel it just gives me a wee bit of...
But then, you saying about being from Turf Lodge and, tea bags have to do a few cups. But then we're in the coffee shop there and you go, "Get me hot milk." That feels like a very middle class move.
It is.
To get steamed milk.
That's a very, very new thing as well. And my girlfriend introduced me to that hot milk, and I think it just keeps your coffee warmer for longer. But it's definitely is middle class, even though she wouldn't classify herself as middle class. But I'm gonna say it, she is.
Do you know what? I've never I always ask that question. Start a podcast, you normally get about 30 seconds out of it. This is the most in depth I've gone on hot drinks, and to be honest, I do want to talk to you about other things, so I should change the subject. But I could keep talking to you about tea and coffee.
We'll go for a coffee after.
Steamed milk. I love that. Absolutely love that. I sort of found out about you and started like following you a couple of months ago, about 6 months ago, and the thing that I really enjoyed seeing was in your preparation for the fight here, the fight you just had. You were in Dubai, and your fight had been postponed again for I don't know how many times, and you were just walking through Dubai, just walking down the street, talking about the fact that again the fight's been delayed. And I'm interested in boxing, but I don't know a lot about financing a camp, so I'd say that costs you, every time a fight puts back, in some way that's costing you money. And you were just walking down the street, pair of shorts on in Dubai, I know there was some James Swift shorts or whatever they were, and you were just going, you know, shit happens, and what's the worst? You know, there's worse things that can happen to you.
It's like, I'll tell you a story before what actually happened. This is how mad it was. You're saying like the fight was put back a few times. So I was in Pakistan.
I saw that, and I was sort of thinking, I didn't know whether you were just like getting, you know, some clothes or whatever, you know, straight from the
Alibaba.com.
I thought you
going
were
to meet the supplier.
You went straight to Ali.
Infiltrate the supplier, find a dealer, or is it infiltrate the supplier, find it or whatever? I don't know, but you know what I mean. But
yeah, I know what you mean.
Anyway, yeah. So I was in Pakistan for a camp. Obviously, one of my stablemates was
By the way,
Pakistan.
That could be taken out of context when you say, you know, the police could, MI5 could very much be on you if you say you're in Pakistan for a training camp.
a training camp. Yeah, no.
Why Pakistan?
Because my stablemate, he trained with me in Glasgow. He's from Pakistan, and he was having his first fight in Pakistan. He's a superstar over, an absolute superstar. He's Commonwealth Games medalist and stuff, so he's a very high profile fighter. But the government were trying so hard to get him a show over just to build him up, obviously, and he's going to be fighting for world title and stuff. So that was why. But we went, and on the way home, it was like we got these. I'll be honest, we got these black fucking COVID tests that were shit. They were a supposed private company, but no one came out and tested us. They just come down and handed us these certificates. So me, my coach, and the team were like, right, sweet, we've got the test. It says we're negative, we're good to go.
Yeah.
And we'll go to the airport. Like, you're not getting on. So it was Qatar Airlines were like, name certificates.
Handwritten.
No chance. You're not, basically. I was like, oh, Jesus, is there anything in Pakistan that's real? Like, from clothing right through, like, is there, like, what are we supposed to do here? My girlfriend's pregnant 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
I need to get home for Christmas or I'm going to miss my girlfriend giving birth and the child and whatever else. My head was melted. I was like, and my coach was going mad. So I was like, oh, fuck this. And I went and walked in the airport and I just stopped and just busted out laughing. I was like, if this is going to happen to anyone, it's definitely going to happen to me. My bird's on the phone panicking, what are you doing? Like, I'm due like a couple of days here. Like, What are you doing? You're not going to go home for Christmas. There's no airlines on. There's no flights available. I was like, oh, Jesus. But I was just laughing. And I walked up. My coach was like, he was raging, just pure arguing with the air hostess and stuff. And then I was like, lad, we were in Pakistan, like, there was people there with no shoes on. There was kids on the boat tapping for money. There was people there with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst? Like, realistically, like, we're in a good place.
Yeah.
When you look at what's going on in the world, and from there, you just realise, like, you have to be grateful for everything you have. And then that was just similar thing that happened in Dubai. Like, it was just the fake pop back, and I was like, like, momentarily, I was like, it just felt like something's just ripped away from me because I'm literally 5 days out from my fight. Plus, I'm making weight.
Yeah.
So psychologically, I'm fed up because you're starving, you're dehydrated, and you're down, like, your body fat and stuff's down, like to whatever it can be, like 6%, I think it was at that stage. And then it's just like, Jesus, it's all been taken away from you, and just starting to do it over again. And I've missed out on Christmas, I've missed out on so much sacrifice, and then you're just like, fuck it again. Like, I'm going to get a cheesecake. I went to cheesecake factory on my own and just sat and had like a whole bunch of tacos and some cheesecake, Coke Zero, and it was like, fuck it, this is the good life.
But you're right, and I think watching that, because, you know, we're in a time where, like, myself included, it takes the slightest thing to get you in a bit of a mood and think worst case scenario. Like, I've had a load of gigs cancelled, but then, and I started thinking about that. I said to my wife, because got really down about no stand-up, I said, I'm not being able to do the thing that I do, like my passion, as well as my job. And then I started thinking, I was like, do you know what? I'm still able to do bits and pieces. I'm still, you know, I was able to do a load of gigs here in Limelight in September, which most people weren't able to do. We've got our health, like yourself, just had a baby.
Yeah.
So it's just a better way to look at it. And just when you said about like bursting out laughing and just going, this is so shit that it's funny.
It's
like
funny. That's exactly it. You're sort of like, fuck me, but like,
yeah.
What more can you do? If you don't laugh, you'll cry situation, really. Like, literally, you're just like...
Was that your like mindset before? Has that always been your mindset, or
was this? I'm a very positive person. Like, yeah, I'm a very positive person. I always look at the best outlook or the best like thing possible that can come out of a bad situation. So like, I've had loads of situations and like it's stuff. I always feel like I always say, if this can happen to anyone, it's going to happen to me, because it knows that I can deal with it. Like, and like the amount of flights I've missed on holidays, the amount of shit I've done, I'm just like going, here I am stuck in a situation again. But I always find a way out of it, and I always find like I can laugh from it. Like,
yeah, if you don't, like, boxing's probably one of those things in a way like comedy, where, I mean, in many ways not like comedy, but if you don't have that mindset, it's probably one of those things where you're always like, you know, when am I getting a shot at this, and why is this not happening for me? Yeah, you just have.
I hate people like that.
Yeah.
Sorry if I offend anyone, but change it.
Yeah, having a kid, has that changed your outlook on boxing at all, or do you know what I mean? Like, is it?
I know, sort of. It has, definitely, but it's not for me no more. I was very, like, probably more selfish before, where I was like, I'm doing this for me, fuck, this is for my life, this is for me. I've sacrificed my life for, because I want to achieve it. What I want to achieve is to be a world champion, and now that I've got a child, it's more like, fuck, like, I need to make that child proud of me. I need to give that child a good, like, pathway through life.
Yeah, exactly the same.
A good understanding of life, and a good like I would never want my child to go into boxing if he didn't want to, but I just wanted to know that, and not just my child now, it's made me realise that more like kids in my community, like, they can do what they want, they can achieve what they want if they make I think the smaller sacrifices come earlier in life at a certain age, where you start drinking and you start taking that wee path off what's right.
Yeah.
And start drinking, start smoking, stuff like that. That's where I believe champions are made.
Did you ever fall into that, or have you always just been like?
I always ran about in like bar crowds, like always my whole life. But I was lucky enough to have 3 big brothers who were always watching over me and keeping an eye on me in the area. And I never smoked, never ever took drugs in my life. And I got caught drinking once when I was 13. And I always had a wee swallow here and there, but it was never anything serious. But the drugs and the smoking and the things, like, was never me. Like, and to be honest, I would say out of a crowd of about 30, 40 of my mates, I was the only one. Like,
did you get shit for it, or did everybody just understand?
No one ever offered me it.
Yeah.
It was because of the brothers. They knew, like, my brothers, they all boxed. They were all Irish champions. Were all like, so they knew, like, no one ever offered me or tried to peer pressure me into doing it. Because they knew if I had and I got caught doing that, then it was caught, like, they were probably going to take a beating. Is it
something like eventually when you retire, you're going to make up for, just like book a travel lodge in town here and just have a weekend? It's weird how much because you say you was 6 week old, I was 7 month old boy as well, and it's mad how much you want your kid to like you.
I know, it is, isn't it?
Just to impress you, even at this age. I just want to. You're bang on about your focus goes from doing things for you and maybe for how it will appear to other people. You know, you do it for the look of it sometimes, but then as soon as you have a kid, it goes from not just you want to do it, but you need to do these things. Like, there's financial pressure as well, but yeah, just to have your kid eventually go like, my dad. That's the dream, like
100%. That's it. Like, I want my kid to, obviously, everyone wants their kid to be proud of them, but you want to be a good father figure to them, and then, like, firstly, and then anything else comes after that, where they can, like, go into school and be like, like, people know them for for what I do.
Yeah.
But like I said before, I don't want them to have to feel like they want to do, or they have to do what I do, like box day. Like he can do singing, he can sing if he wants, he can do whatever he wants. Like, I would never put that pressure on him, but I just think he'll get a wee bit more respect from everyone when they know who his dad is. Sort of like, oh, you're Sean's dad. Oh, you're Sean's son.
I'm sort of forcing my son into comedy, so when he's done a couple of gigs and he goes, this is tough, I go, you say it's not for everyone, stop doing it. You know, just to let him know that I'm a lot better than he could be.
I said, listen, you just didn't make a cut, son.
I mean, it definitely changes things. And the state, you know, the sort of state, I wouldn't call it a statement, the quotes you gave after your latest fight there, where, you know, you lost the fight. I stayed up for it. I watch it in bed with headphones on, and that is dedicated. You know what I mean? That's commitment.
That's a fan.
Yeah, that's a fan. That's a fan. That's a fan. But you said after the fight, you were taking it felt like a even fight for a long time, and then you started taking a bit of punishment, and you basically said in your statement after, like, I just didn't want to keep getting punched, and I've got a kid at home, and I've got to think about that. And do you think that's something that maybe not everybody understands until they're in that position?
100%. Obviously, like, I wasn't hurt, I wasn't sore, I wasn't tired. I was psychologically, I was just like, get me out of here, get them gloves off me, the fuck, I just don't even want to be here. And I was thinking, like, I've been away for 16 weeks, I'm underperforming, I can't get myself up to stick to my game plan, and I was just fighting his fate. And I couldn't get out of that rut. I was frustrated at myself at the start of every round, trying to maintain my game plan. Yeah. And I couldn't do it. I was like, why am I not? Like, I just felt like I couldn't be annoyed. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, get me home to my kids. And
did it all kind of hit you, the postponements, the flying here, flying there, the money that costs as well, your time? Did it all just kind of hit you at that time? Or had you been thinking about that beforehand?
Gradually building up, like it was. Like over Christmas, I was proper fed up, and then a couple of weeks after Christmas, I was ready to go to Dubai. I had a new lease of life, I'm fighting Dubai. I'm good, I'm ready to go. And then I was put back, and then I had to fly home from Dubai. And then at that point, I was like, I can remember coming home from Dubai. I had to fly into Dublin and get the bus home on my own. I was standing in Dublin airport with like a wee thin, like half zip neck top on. And it was lashing, and I was just home in Dubai, and I was like, fuck, I was waiting on a bus. I was like, my girlfriend offered to pick me up. I was like, no, you've got to, like, you just got a new child. And
that's a side people don't expect.
And I was just standing going, what the fuck, never again am I doing this. And the anger going through me, like having to go home and not know when I'm going to fight again, because there was no announcement of when I'm actually going to fight. So at this stage, I was still not knowing whether to eat much or still be on my diet, because I could have got a phone call and say, you're fighting next week. But I didn't know that for sure. So psychologically, you're arguing yourself to have that wee bit of chocolate. But you don't even really want to fight, but you could fight, and then you're going to go, fuck, what I do? I'd have to go and train and lose weight again. And it was just all over the place. And then when I got home, my dad was just like, fuck me, Sean, when are you going to get a break here? I was like, I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't think people expect to even hear that side of things. People think it's like sport and a few different things. When people hear you're a boxer, they think, okay, you're a professional boxer, you're probably doing well for yourself, you're probably flying into an airport, getting driven home and all that kind of thing, and they don't realise that, like, you're hustling, like you're trying to make it happen.
It's not all glamour, it's not all, like, people do expect that side of things because of the professional status, but realistically, like, there's better elite fighters as an amateur, elite amateur fighters, like Olympians and stuff like that. Obviously, I was in that pedigree before I went professional, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of people who go professional and have probably had like 2 amateur fights and are going absolutely nowhere with their career. They just have that professional status. But that's nothing, because they're probably paying to fight a lot of times. So it's like you can't paint everyone with the same brush as being professional. But even the higher end of things, like, we're well looked after with my management. I'm with MTK Global, we're well looked after, but there's still downsides yet. Like, it's not like you're getting picked up in a limousine and brought to fucking you know what I mean, MGM Arena, and you're on the S-Big ring, and it's not like that. So it's the early stage of your career, especially. So
I mean, one thing I enjoyed as well after the fight was you know, like anything you do in the public eye, people were, you know, you were getting praise and a bit of shit for it as well. But your replies to people that were sort of going, you know, you gave up there and you were just replying going, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
did you not watch it?
That pisses people off so much because then they've nothing to use against
people are just
it.
writing back, fair enough. Like, do man, thanks for remembering me. I'll stick it on here again and make myself in half an hour in case I forget again. You fucking need it. It's
just great just to get back to people in that way and not get angry. It's like if I do a video and somebody goes, you know, fucking Keith in Carrickfergus goes, mate, the accent wasn't, don't think the accent was 100% there. Alright mate, I'll reshoot it. I'll delete it and then I'll reshoot it and I'll upload it. But it's funny just to meet like people trying to get a reaction out of you with just genuine, like, no, yeah, you're right.
100%. I was there.
Yeah.
You turned around, or you give up. Hello, I was there. Fuck. You know what I mean? It's just, people like, just don't understand. Like, obviously, people get a wee kick at fair play too.
Yeah.
I'm thick-skinned. Fuck.
Yeah.
I could slag me all down, I'll slag you back 10 times worse. And that's the household I come from. Having 3 older brothers, we've just tortured each other. I'm still to this day. Like, it's just, and then even my son now, he's only 6-7 weeks old coming, and my girlfriend was like, what? How he's torturing him?
I thought you were going to say he started getting at you for the fight.
What are you playing that time?
But yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and having that, you need to have that thick skin, because it's people that do something where people are saying it, like in public, like boxing or comedy or whatever it is, that expect to have no negativity. You're done. If you expect to have
you're finished.
Just positive stuff.
No, it's not all. It's far from it. You probably get more negative than positive, but it kicks you on, and like you say, you have to be thick-skinned, especially even yourself, like especially in comedy, because people expect them. Because people are watching comedy, everything has to be funny, obviously. But then they're trying to outdo you by saying it wasn't funny, and then they're trying to be funny.
Well, you're like, it's such a thing to go to put a video out, or even like just a joke, and say what you're doing by saying that is, this is funny. I think this is funny, and funny is one of those things that like people are it's so like subjective. So either you find something funny or you don't, and there could be the funniest thing ever. Some people are obviously not going to enjoy it, and it's funny to me for having done it for so long and having a thick skin, where you put something up and someone will just write under it, and the person always has like a Man United badge as their profile. It's always like a person with numbers and their name, you know, just a first name and a few numbers. And you put this video and, you know, you write it and you get it filmed and you get it edited and you put it up and you're really happy, and someone just writes under it, shit. Like that.
Shit,
like, what are they hoping to get out of it? What are they hoping to get out of it?
We're having a great day with your family.
Or where somebody DMs me and goes, listen, someone face. And you're going, let me stop you there.
Hold it.
But it is funny. Like, people aren't going to enjoy, and there will be people who don't enjoy.
You can't expect to be going out to satisfy everyone, because at the end that's where it all feels like.
Yeah, like, comedy is, especially here, like in Northern Ireland or whatever. It's everybody's funny. It's a bit like Liverpool and a few other places with like that working class humour.
They're all funny, like dry wit and quick.
Yeah, because that's what that was like all people had. You know what I mean? And like you're saying about growing up, like in my granny's house back in the day, you know, terraced house, small kitchen, but on Saturday afternoons there'd be about 20 people in it, and you had to just be able to hit back at people, because 100%. From being a kid, you were getting tortured, like, so you had to, all in like a loving way though. You know what I mean?
By the time, like, there's no hard feelings. It's just the way it is, isn't it? It's the way our society is. It's just
your granny's like, you got buck teeth and big ears, you twat. You know, and you're like, well, that's
Hello? See, that's my reaction again. Hello.
I've seen myself. So after the fight, you started a food vlog where you just basically said, I am going to eat whatever people recommend for me, fast food, for, was it a week?
A week straight,
I took so much satisfaction out of watching that when I was eating healthy food, because I was able to enjoy, I felt like I was eating the food with you, but that must have been a lot different from going from what do you
One
eat?
extreme to
What do you
another.
eat during camp in a day? What do you eat?
Well, I'm on, like, I've got a nutritionist, sport nutritionist, Stephen Floyd. He's been doing my nutrition. So he gives me like a food diary, like basically on a day-to-day basis based on my training sessions, so we can up the carbs or drop the carbs and stuff. But it's only 1,700 calories a day.
Right.
So it's like, and you're training twice a day, so I'm probably burning like 1,200 calories. So my actual, like, I'm only consuming 500 now, but like up in the morning, porridge, train, high intensity session, and then come back, chill out, have like a Gavar yogurt, which is like a protein yogurt, and then lunch, which would be like chicken breast, rice and some veg, and then train again, another high intensity session, like long session, like boxing session, and then dinner would be like salmon, sweet potato veg, but it's only like, it's all veg, so it's like 100 grams of sweet potato veg, 100 grams of salmon, and then a load of veg, and then go to bed.
But then for the last week, you've been...
The last week, I've been fucking...
It's like a buffet it's been like a buffet every day. Were you doing it twice a day or once a day?
A beer keg with eggs at the minute.
Yeah.
But no, just a bit of everything. So, like you're saying, you get satisfaction from it. I go on my Instagram now, you can do my like search feed and just searching all foods and like, oh, gee, that looks amazing. I get, even when I'm in camp and I'm like really dieting, and I get so much satisfaction. Like, I don't even know how to describe how I feel.
Just
like,
a picture of a good burger, like...
Just satisfied looking at stuff, like...
Yeah.
I might, like, people going, you're torturing yourself, but I'm not.
So for you, it's not Pornhub, you're just...
Oh, it's not Pornhub.
Recipes, you know what I mean?
Had to keep them full for getting home. The missus won't be happy. But I know, I just scrolling down and just looking at all this different foods. I actually go to Asda and walk around, like, the edge, starting a food, going, fuck, that looks amazing. And come out empty-handed, down there back home again. That's my day now. We coffee will do me. With hot milk, almond milk.
I mean, shout out to almond milk, that's what I have, but I just didn't order it there in front of you in case you judge me for it. But you shared something on Twitter that I hadn't, that I didn't know from your amateur days. And would you be mates with Paddy Barnes? Like, can I just say, what got me into boxing was, well, not what got me into it, but what solidified my love for boxing was when Paddy had a fight with that Bulgarian guy who just picked him up in a fireman's lift and ran about with him.
That's right.
That, when I saw that, I was like, yes, this is a sport I can get into. Nothing, I never enjoyed reading a report about a fight as much as that. And then I was talking to Paddy about it, and he goes, I said, what happened after? Like, what did the fella say? He goes, don't know, he just left. Didn't get a shower or anything, just left.
Straight out, shorts, t-shirt on, a pair of boxing boots, down the back of the hotel. Got his money and away he went. That's the beauty of it.
But when you were, and you shared this recently, but when you were an amateur, when you were at the Olympics in Australia?
Oh, Commonwealth Games,
Commonwealth Games, and you got into a bit of, were you the captain of the Commonwealth Games?
Team captain,
And you got into a bit of bother in Australia? What happened?
So a lot of my mates, I got beat on a split decision by England. And then I was like, fuck this, trained again, set loads of like 14 weeks flat out training, and then a lot of my mates were obviously staying in Australia. So they come off from Melbourne, stayed in Gold Coast to book the penthouse apartment in the Hilton Hotel, partying, and they're like, fuck me, and I was like, no, I'm going to meet these for a pint. Yeah, so we went to Cincinnati nightclub. I met up with all the lads, had a few pints that day. We actually watched the boxing, and then I went home, got changed, met up with him again. So it was we were half cut after a few pints, and ended up just hadn't drank in so long. So it was like, right, lads, let's go and drinking vodkas and whatever else. But I must have been blocked. I can't really remember exactly why, but I went up till all the barmaids in this nightclub was wearing bikinis. So I went up and ordered like 4 vodkas and whatever it was, white lemonade. I was like, not 4 vodkas and white lemonade, doubles. Yeah. No, don't do doubles. In Australia, when you do singles, I was like, fair enough, there's 4 singles. And that was that. And then I was starting for ages, and then my mate comes up and he's like, you get a drink? I'm starting there for ages. Like, I'm still waiting. And he was like, I don't know. And then he goes and orders a drink with the same girl who had just served me like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, so when he gets his drinks and walks away, and I'm like, what the fuck? Excuse me. And she's like, oh, sorry. And I was like, I ordered 4 drinks. And she's like, yeah. And then I was like, fuck, I mean, yeah, where are they? So I was looking around, standing for another 10 minutes. I was like, geez, she's looking the whole of this here. So I tried to get her attention again. She wouldn't turn around, and I went like that and tapped on the shoulder. And she pushed my hand. I was like, you can't touch fucking barmaids. I was like, well, I ordered a drink 20 minutes ago, and I still haven't got it. And then she was like, away talking, and she turned around and started talking to it must have been the bar manager or something. And then the doorman came over and was like, hey, you're not getting no more alcohol. I was like, what for? He's like, you've had enough. I was like, fuck me, okay, well, give us a water. And he was like, what? I was like, give me a bottle of water. Excuse me, can I have a bottle of water? She was like, okay, I pay for the water. I walked her back, and I was like, they won't serve me no more drink. But my mate who had just ordered the drinks before me, he's like, here, take one of them. So I grabbed it and started drinking it. Doorman was over across me, no more drink. Throws me out. I was like, Jesus, but they get into a village in the Commonwealth Games, all the athletes have like an accreditation around them. It's like a passport in and out. So I had that around me, and obviously the doorman were all like Lithuanian or something, and he came down and he was like, so I went back, the thing made the side door, I went back around the front, and I was like, I'm standing here on my own, I'm waiting on my mates coming in. And they were like, what sport do you do? I was like, it doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm not telling them to do boxing because they're fucking doorman and probably think they can fight like fuck.
Yeah. But, I just said curling.
Curling, So, I was like standing there, and they were like, kept trying to reach for my accreditation. But if I lose that, I am fucked. I can't get into the village. So I just step back, and I was like, move, and then whatever else. And then he kept hanging. And then he tries to pull it, and I pushed his hand, and one of them fucking cracked me. So I was like, what the fuck? So I just got wired into him back, and then the two of us were rolling about the floor. Now we had 5 or 6 doormen around me at this stage, and we were just rolling about the floor, digging the head each other. And then the cops came, flipped out the buttons. I was like, right, fuck me, chill out, relax. And then got arrested. Threw in this wee cell of fucking land free. It was actually roasting in this cell. This land going, no way, what the fuck's going on? It was black. Fell asleep, and then I woke up. And another fella I know, he was staying out there at the time, so he came and bailed me out to his mate's address in the Gold Coast, and away I went on a taxi, black one, go to McDonald's, and I went to this address, woke up the next morning and was like, Jesus, what's going on? But it was like 7:30 in the morning, I woke up, and I was like, what the fuck? And the fella who owned the house, Neville, he like this big house and Gold Coast swimming pool out the back on this lake, it leads into the hang, it was unbelievable. And the guy's from Newcastle, County Down, so he's like, alright there, fella. I was like, looking up, no, only awake, fuck, landing on the settee, back broke me, what the fuck, who's that? He's like, laughing. I was like, where's Connor? He's like, he's in bed. I was like, right. He's like, do you want a cup of coffee? He gave me beer, and he started laughing. Then I'm serious. He's like, of Corona, or he gave me a bottle of Corona, and I was like, he's like, did you see the news? And I was like, phone was dead. I was just sitting on the edge of the settee, just contemplating life, going, what is going on here? Where am I? In some stranger's house, and he was like, did you see the news? You're all over the news. But I was just ignoring him, going, Jesus, where's Connor? And I was like, have you charged for Samsung? He's like, nah, iPhone. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So he kept saying about the news, and I was like, what are you talking about? And it went on till went on for half an hour before he actually turned the TV on. And I was like, he's like, go on, look at the TV. He was laughing, he's talking about me and all. He's like, I own the house now. Stay here, no problem. And he's cacking on, and then he was like, boom, turn the TV on. There it was, big mugshot of me sitting. And it was that news article from 7 News, Brisbane. The Sean McComb charged with being a public nuisance. I was like, what the fuck? I looked at him, he's like, you serious? He's like, oh, mate, why's that? I mean, oh, jeez, mate, get me a charger. He was laughing like, fuck. Oh, I was like, what are you laughing at? All over the news. I was like, oh, Jesus. I finally got a phone, charged and ding from messages going through the roof. We're obviously 11 hours ahead over her, so it was just non-stop. The coaches were ringing me, everyone was going ballistic, and then the Commonwealth Council tried to book me a flight home and get me. They were like, you're going home. And I was like, I'm not going home. I've already booked an extra couple of days to stay. I stayed an extra 10 days after for a holiday, I was like, I'm this far across the water, I'm staying an extra 10 days or so for a holiday. And they were like, you're going home. So it was barred from the Broad Beach and Gold Coast area, barred from every nightclub. It was like electronic system, so you have to scan in the nightclubs your ID, and it comes up. And it come up like a photo of me in a wee jail cell like that, with like the wee reference number of being arrested. And then they were like, you're going home. And I just kept going, I'm not going home. So I was staying in this guy's house still.
Right.
Not allowed in the village, TV cameras everywhere. And I just stayed there the way. Wouldn't tell no one where I was. And then I just kept saying to my coach, John Conlon, at the time, I was like, John, I want to see the CCTV. I want to see, because I know it was self-defense. And then we finally got to see the CCTV, and it was showing that your man hit me first. So everything got dropped, charges got dropped, and I was finally allowed it back in the nightclubs again. And the Commonwealth Council didn't send me home in the end. So
do you know what you should have done? Got your mates in Pakistan to forge a signature.
That's
and
exactly
got a certificate. Sin City,
Sin
VIP.
I'd give you a booth, 2 bottles of Disaronno and Coke.
Is that where the nickname Public Nuisance came from?
The Public Nuisance came from, but I phoned my mate and I was like my phone was going mad and I hadn't replied to no one. And I phoned my mate Marty, like best mate. I was like, hello, and he's like, oh, he was laughing on the phone. I was like, Lord Jesus, what have I done? This is, and he's like laughing, going, this is lethal, you're a legend. He was so passionate about it.
People here would be more proud that happened than if you'd won the Commonwealth Games.
100%.
Yeah.
He's like, Lord, this is lethal. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. You're a legend over here. Everyone talking about it, lad. I didn't know, and I was like, and then he was like, lad, you need to use that there nickname. The Public Nuisance is your box nickname. Just think about it, you're going pro. He's like, fuck amateur boxing, fuck Commonwealth Games, fuck it all. Just come home, turn pro, use the Public Nuisance and just... And then from there, I just started laughing. I was like, oh, Jesus. Plus, at this stage, it's probably 3 deep in Coronas.
Yeah,
so I started drunk again. And then I was like, no, what, you're right, fuck it. And then from there, it just kicked off, turned to negative into a positive.
That's class, because like with the nickname thing, I don't know where they come from, and some nicknames are good and some are bad, and I think, look, I mean, I've never, you can tell on my face, I've never boxed, but if I did, I think I would have a shit nickname, you know, I don't know what I would.
People, I don't know where people get their nicknames from. Like, I don't think I was ever going to use a nickname until that actually happened, and then there was a reason behind it, and it has a story behind it, which is great.
Some like that have a brilliant story, and then some like Paddy Barnes just go the Leprechaun.
The Leprechaun, I don't know.
I don't know if Paddy had ever been called.
I actually gave him that nickname.
Did you?
Because he was trying to use the wee man. I was like, that's how you represent. But Paddy had this dream. He's obviously 2-time like Olympic.
Legend. Like,
he's a legend in boxing, and he's had this dream. We'll go to America, and I was like, you go to America, dress up as a leprechaun, and just become Paddy the Leprechaun. Your name's Paddy. You're small. You're a wee fat ginger Irish cunt. Just be the leprechaun, and just like be a wee fairy tale, and batter everyone. And
what about when he did go to America and fell off the bike? That is the best clip on social media.
It's unbelievable.
And I say that as someone who tries to put out clips all the time in the hope that people will think it's funny. Nothing can be funnier than when Paddy's wife Mary was filming and he fell off the bike in Times Square. That is peak internet.
Oh, that's powerful. Like you would rewatch that anytime you're in a bad mood, just to go, oh, that's a pick me up.
Is the Belfast the comedy scene here is good because like most people are good mates and like you gig with the same people, you get friendly, they become your friends outside. Is the boxing scene like that as well? Like
especially here because of it's so close. Like Belfast is one of the I would say Belfast is one of the best boxing cities, and in fact it's the best boxing city in the UK.
Yeah, like pound for in terms of the amount of people. 100%. Yeah.
We go down the Irish team and there was 5 of us, number 1 in Ireland. Like me, Mick, Paddy, Tommy McCarthy, Kurt Walker, and then we all lived together in a hotel.
Yeah.
And we travelled the world together, and like we all live within literally a 10-minute drive each other. So it's like that bond. Like when you go to Dublin, and there's like people from like all over Ireland, like Kilkenny and Clonmel, and they're like Mayo, and they're all coming up. We all come up for squad training. Like it's like the international team. So everyone's different. But people from Belfast all stuck together, and we were always like known as the Belfast boys. And then you go
sounds
down,
like a strip back.
Well,
maybe it was a times.
It was a times. But you go down and you've already got that wee bond with people from Belfast, and then you don't have to get like friendly with people, trying like mingle in with people. You're just there anyway, and then you just stick together and then become like friends for life, like mates forever. Like.
Do you think, how much does politics get brought into boxing here, and could you do Belfast fights? Like, could you have boxers from here fighting each other?
You could. Well, in the amateurs, you always do anyway.
Yeah.
You have to meet at some stage. Like I've boxed loads from Belfast at my weight category. And you do that the whole way through the amateur scene. But in professional, it's a bit more political, like where people don't want to get involved, because I think they should, but a lot of people don't want to get involved because of the pressure of like someone losing or trying to protect their unbeaten record
In your backyard as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like so,
because people talked about, I mean, for years there it was talked about, you know, McComb versus Frampton and things like that. And it's like, I think that fights like, not that specific fight, but fights like that would be great. Like that sounds class, and it would attract brilliant crowds. But there is just a fear that would turn into
100%.
Pick a side.
It's just, that's exactly it as well. And then another thing is like, it's getting two people at the exact same time of their career, like going the same, like meeting at the same point. So like, it'll always be like Frampton's at the end of his career, McSword at the start of his career. Frampton's had a fantastic, phenomenal career, probably best ever Irish fighter, like, and McConnon potentially could be, but if they were ever to fight at the stage that we're talking about back then, would be like, it's always going to be like an argument.
Yeah.
Like, he fought him and he was done. Well, he was only hanging. It was just back and forward. And well, Frampton beat Mick, but Mick wasn't ready yet. So none of them were in their peak at the same time. So trying to get two fighters at the same weight, at the same level, and peak at the same time is very, very hard to do. And I think if we ever do get two people like that in Belfast, they should just do it.
Yeah.
And put like 90% of the time anyway, after fights, boxers become friends. After punching they hit each other.
Yeah, there is always
that. Each other, so
there is all the trash talking, and then as soon as the bell goes or whatever, it's like, all right, mate, like.
Good man, enjoyed that.
Yeah, I met an Irish boxer, a guy called Henry Coyle. I was doing a gig in Chicago, and he was the doorman, and someone went, he used to be a boxer, he's from Ireland, and I got chatting to him. I thought maybe he just dabbled. He was a world champion. Madness. And then I got chatting to him. I had a cider, and I said, I had a cider, and I went, can't find a good gym around here and all. I'm trying to just stay in shape and all. And he goes, I'll take you training tomorrow if you want. And I went, yeah. No, what I should have said is, no. I should have went, no, I'm actually okay. I did it. We went to this like circuit session together, taken by this boxer in Chicago. And it was us and about 6 girls at this thing. And yeah, just circuits for about an hour in this basement, roasting. Do the session. I think I'm going to die, but I want to just get through it. Manage to just make it through the end of it. Like, I play football and keep myself fit. I'm dead at the end of it. No one's broken a sweat. And I turned to him and I went, yeah, that was great. Cheers for having me. He goes, do you want to work out now?
Warm up.
And I said, no. He goes, do you want to get on the pads? And I was like, look at me. I should not be near the pads, you know? But just that level of fitness. But it was nuts. And then he was telling me about, he had a world title, he won a world title, and talking about his career. And yeah, I think he said that like Belfast is like where it's at. Like.
No, it's a lot of, to be honest, a lot of it goes to the backing from like the council.
Right.
The funding goes into like, until, because all our clubs are voluntary, like all our coaches are voluntary, like in the clubs, is the club level, boxing from kids right up, and the time they put on them kids, and then the travel around the country. So the funding that keeps them clubs going from the council's like phenomenal, and I think they're one of the main reasons why Belfast boxing is so.
And see, so coaches good. Like that, like people talk about, we're putting this thing on to like help the kids or whatever and stop people going down a certain path or whatever. That is legitimately the thing that does do that.
100%.
And it cuts through religion as well. Like that seems to be a misconception, might be from someone like me from the outside in, is, well, if you have a boxing club in Ardoyne, then it's boxers from Ardoyne. They're just, but it seems to be that all the clubs, just a mixture of everyone, really.
I know, it's like boxing clubs especially are just as politics, there's no politics involved, like in that sense. It's just open up. Like my club, Holy Trinity, was in Turf Lodge. We had like Nicholas Crocker box for us. He lives in Sandy Row, and Carly McNall, who lives in East Belfast, box for us. We've had loads of people just coming to and from, and up there we're more than welcome, even in the area.
Yeah.
People in the area knew them because they were coming up, and even like their posters were on our walls, like on the outside of our walls, like people from Turfwalls walking by, and there's a photo of someone from East Belfast up on the wall holding his All Ireland medal or holding his whatever medal it is.
Yeah.
And then people in the area know who he is now, and then he's welcome. He's more than welcome in the area. So it's boxing in that sense is brilliant.
Because I had Wayne McCullough on the podcast ages ago. The podcast been going for about a year. He was one of the guests near the start, and he said that, you know, I was talking. He's from the Shankill, and he was talking about boxing for Ireland, and they asked him to hold the flag, the Irish flag, at some event. And they were almost not going to ask him and thought he was going to say no. And he's like, I'd be delighted to do that. Like, it just cuts through politics. Sometimes we talk about doing, for years, we talk about like a comedian's charity boxing tournament.
Be good. You should do it.
I think in my head, right, I go, I could box. Right, I go, no, not to any level, but I go, I'd have the footwork. I'll run about the kitchen. You know, I'm light on my feet. But is that the thing where people think, because obviously people don't watch professional boxing and go, I could do that, but people do go, I could look like I could box. You know what I mean? Like maybe I could move that way.
Got the moves. Like.
But do you think that all changes when you get punched in the nose?
It's just
I gas out. I just go straight in. I gas out after 30 seconds.
That's the thing. You can go in and think you look like that, but then someone comes on at you like a lunatic.
Yeah.
It all goes out the window.
Would that be my best game if we did comedians boxing? If you were coaching me, would you say, because I think I have an engine, but then I did boxercise once with a girl from work a few years ago down at the local leisure centre, and it was all mums, and I did about 30 seconds on one of the pads, and I was like, I've got an appointment or something, and I was done. Like, so would that be my game plan? Just like run straight in?
Usually whenever people are training for like charity events or like
white collar
boxing, I just encourage them to just go out attack.
It looks so bad when you watch white collar, the technique and all. But then I'm watching that going, these guys. But I'd be exactly the same. Like,
like if someone comes and goes like, here, I'm fighting 6 weeks white collar, I'm like, get fit, get as fit as you can, and go in and swing for the hill. Because you can take everyone, you'd be taken by surprise. Yeah. Because people have this idea in their head, they're in the box.
Yeah.
The box going and start swinging for the hills.
Sometimes I think if it's 3 1-minute rounds, I go, see, for 2 rounds, I'll just soak it up. I'll just soak it up, sit on the ropes, and then work my way back in.
Over Simpson jump, take 8 4 12 rounds,
Because I don't think I would have liked getting hit. When I was talking about being in Chicago, I was in Boston before that. Got him. I'd never really been punched on the face. Maybe playing football or something, but nothing too much. I took a medicine ball, went to do a workout. I took a medicine ball and thought, I'll do a few slams here in the gym. I just arrived in Boston. I was doing 3, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia. Big deal for me. Like, and bear in mind, my looks are probably my main thing. So I have a medicine ball, go into the gym, there's like a couple of people working out there in the hotel gym. I go, do a few slams here. It's not one of the ones that stays on the ground. So I have big Bluetooth headphones on me. Like I look the part here. I take a medicine ball, slam it, go down, and then about 5 minutes later, I'm trying to work out what happened. There's blood. I documented all this on Instagram at the time. There was blood on the floor. I was that confused. Me and the hotel manager went looking for the fella who did it. I was like, someone came in and went for me there. I don't know what happened, but I'd been attacked. And then I looked at the blood on the medicine ball and went, it's probably what that is. I thought I'd died.
Fuck, I'm laughing.
I knocked myself out.
The same thing happened to me. I did knock myself out. Like,
it just bounced straight back up. I didn't think to check.
I've done the same myself, where like, both hit me right in the chin. Like,
my hip and nose.
Well, I had a wee bit of reaction speed, but it's funny because I'm laughing because it did happen to me. And then I was doing a circuit, and I slammed the ball up. I was like, fucking hit me in the chin. And then people were like, oh, you're right now. I was like, oh, I just carried on. Yeah. And I was in the circuit. I was doing like, I was in the zone training like fuck, trying to like look impressive and all. And then went back round to do the slams again, and the exact same thing. I forgot myself. Going this time, turned my shoulder like that, just whisked past me. I was like, fuck me, I've got to do that again. You get that medicine ball away from me. But it's easy.
It was so bad. Like I was shaking for about 2 days after. Like I was upset. You know what I mean? It made me really like upset. I was like, how could that happen?
My training days are over.
Knocked my headphones off. Blood all over. Like, so maybe boxing isn't for me.
It's the same. Like Get out while they're ahead. Quit while they're ahead.
Because I would love to do it, but I wouldn't like to lose.
No,
I would like to do one charity fight. Although, because we're comedians, maybe you go like, I didn't even want to win anyway. But I would do like a full camp. I'll pay whatever it takes to do a full.
That's my advice: is get fit as you can for 6 weeks and just go in and swing.
Yeah.
Because there's no defense method. There's someone coming at you like a raving lunatic like that when you've no actual skills to defend it.
I was reading something, like an article about boxing that said that it's evolving to the point where people are doing different things in fights. That I won't make this sound like it makes sense. You know the way you've like punching patterns almost.
Yeah.
But it's like evolved that much that people are doing things just a wee bit different, and it's throwing opponents off. That didn't make sense. But what I'm saying is I feel like it's like, okay, like jab, punch or whatever, something like that. But what if someone's doing things a bit different? What if some guys like punch to the stomach, turn?
It's insane. Like the how much it's evolved even in the last couple of years. I think. Like, there's a fella called, he's Ukrainian guy, Vasily Lomachenko.
Yeah.
He's two Olympic. That's not me, is it? It must be me. I never have that phone on.
Why do you have that? That sounds like ring walk music. Do you have as your...
Is the Undertaker coming out? Smoke's gonna come up.
That's beautiful. It sounds like Braveheart. We'll wait for that to go off, but...
I'm enjoying it.
It is nice, isn't it?
I thought someone was going to come on my guitar and just start belting live music.
Let me ask you where Bang Bang Gravy Chip came from. Because I've started to say that to myself. You find things that you say to your kid that, we smile or a wee reaction. Bang Bang Gravy Chip makes it, like, he likes it.
Loves it.
And my wife's going... knock off, don't always do it, you know what I mean? So
don't play it.
And then she said where to come from. I said, Sean McComb, he's a boxer, he says it. But what is it?
It's like it's an old Holy Trinity thing. So like we were always obviously in our club, we were a really good club at one stage, and it was like in around the same age group, it was about 10 of us, and there were like a good like squad right through. We're all Irish champions with different weight categories. And people who smoked our club and sparring, I was like, how'd you get on there? And we had 2 rings, so you'd usually have 2 people sparring at the same time and people watching different spars and all, and you were in the same room and all the lads were like, how'd you get on there? What was that spar like? And we're like, bang, bang, gravy chip. And we're like, it's just as easy as that. Like, as if like that's sort of how the spar went. You just bang, bang, gravy chips.
Bish, bash, bosh sort of thing. It's like a... Do you have like a t-shirt with that on or anything?
Nah.
100%.
I had shorts, like I have it on my shorts, like on the back of my shorts.
Nah,
bang,
t-shirt
bang,
range.
T-shirt range.
100%.
Be a winner, like,
with like a gravy chip on it, and bang bang at the top.
Bang bang.
100%.
Loads of people have like randomly on Instagram and stuff just sent me logos.
Yeah.
Like just like look at this, made this, like obviously. But I've just never really thought it like through, like get bang bang gravy chip.
T-shirt. Do you know he has a great t-shirt? Tyrone McKenna. He has the Mighty Kelp.
The Mighty Kelp one.
It's a good t-shirt. I wear that for stand up.
The public one, the Public Nations one, but it's more like it's like a sport range, and it's not really humour. It's like Tyrone McKenna's one's better. His is retro.
Yeah.
That's Tyrone McKenna to a T as well. Like,
and do you know what I like sometimes when I wear that? Someone will nod at me, like maybe they think I do boxing.
The Mighty Kelp.
Yeah.
Something like that. Interested.
Let me ask you just a final question. Like, what's your like ambition, or what's the thing you would really like to do, or is there a fight that like in a certain venue that would be it for you?
Yeah. Obviously, like my ambition is to be a world champion. Like a realistic ambition is to be a world champion. Like realistic. Definitely good enough to do it. And then I think a dream venue with a dream fight would probably just seeing recently that like Casement Park being built would be massive for West Belfast.
Yeah.
And having represented West Belfast for so long, like I think Casement Park against the likes of Ryan Garcia for world title would be unbelievable. He's a big high profile name.
Yeah.
He's still young and he's going to be around for another maybe another 10 years. Like, and I believe with he's hanging around with Canelo a lot and all this, so he's just becoming bigger and bigger. He's probably going to be the golden boy of like boxing whenever in the face of boxing whenever Canelo retires. So to fight him in Casement Park would be unbelievable if it was built.
Because the plans for that are that it's all going to be in, you know what I mean, as opposed to like a big open air thing.
It would be unbelievable.
Yeah. I think.
That would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it today that helps obviously is like your media profile, how you come across in press and all that kind of thing. And I think a big thing you have going for you in that is it doesn't seem forced at all.
No.
You see people where you're like, you're working hard at that. Yeah, it's just probably comedians do it too. You can tell like you're not being yourself and you're a wee bit out of your comfort zone.
There's very few people that are themselves on social media.
Yeah. Well, like it's a fake world.
It's exactly what it is, a fake world. It's funny. Like I had it the other day saying, "Oh fuck, I missed the opportunity to throw a party from 15k followers, but it was on 15.k set or 15.7 or something like that."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh fuck, shit, raging! I missed the opportunity to have a party of 15k followers." But I may delete it and restart again.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, because people are throwing these mad parties that just because they've got followers, like.
It is. It's a full. It's so valuable to what we both of us do, but there's just that side of it where I think people obviously only show the positive, the wins, whereas I think what you're doing with the likes of what I'm saying about that when you were in Dubai for that camp and you're saying like this is not going right for me. Is showing the other side of it as well, and that's where the honesty is, I think.
100%. Just talk to yourself. I don't go for it. It's even on my story. Sometimes you're singing and talking shit. And just the crap comes up. So just the stuff like, just be yourself. Like it sings. Like I don't care what I look like. Like I know I'm good looking.
Yeah. No.
I mean, like my girl was me. You're great.
There's nothing wrong. But sure, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being two guys that go look. We fucking got the face.
I know, that's what I mean. Like,
it's okay to say that, but people can attack that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Because like they probably don't feel that way themselves.
No,
it's alright to be good looking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't have to apologise for it.
It's this bone structure.
Yeah.
Like, we can turn red. We're not like Zealand. We can turn red.
I think your career will go up and up, and it's been great following you, honestly, for like the last few months to just see that positivity at a time where you can easily, myself included, fall into a trap of just being negative. And I think if you hadn't had the public nuisance, I think Steamed Milk would be a phenomenal boxing nickname.
Steamed Milk, McComb.
Yeah,
I like it.
It works, doesn't it?
It works.
Bang Bang Gravy Chip t-shirt and then a Steamed Milk t-shirt.
Steamed Milk, McComb. I like it.
Yeah, alright. Sean, cheers for doing the podcast. Oh, also, you're opening a gym?
Oh, I'm in a gym, Missile Fitness. It's just a Canary Ware, so it's good spot, just off a motorway.
It's quite handy for me. Is there a ring?
Charlie Boxing coming up.
Keep the head busy.
No,
Here's the thing, I'm a weird weight. You know, I'm 12 stone and don't look at them. Maybe sometimes I can be 12'2", 12'3". So that puts me in a category of guys that are bigger than me.
Lads.
So it's difficult for me. Like,
we'll get you on a good deficit. We'll get you down to 11 stone and we'll
get
you moving like you're 8 stone.
Yeah, happy days. Yeah, Missile Fitness. Happy. Yeah,
that's it. And that's just the way it's going to be. And we'll have everyone bounced about that ring like pogo sticks.
Yeah. Okay. And you do fitness classes as well, don't you?
So we're just
you and your mate?
Like me and Marty, we opened it. And see, it's the same approach to our gym as we have it. Like we're not too professional. Everyone's going to try to do all these like, we do this and like giving people like ways to live,
life advice, and they always start the video with their hands together. Guys,
we're just bounced. If you go on our like Instagram page, it's like Missile Fitness.
Yeah.
On Instagram, and it's just us being us, like two best mates, just having a laugh.
Yeah.
Wanting people to enjoy training. Like we're going to help people like with injuries, with like he's a master's in he's a master's in sports psychology,
right.
Marty, but he's a lunatic.
Yeah.
And I believe you have to be a lunatic to be a psychologist anyway, but he is just nuts in his own way, but he's just so smart as well.
Yeah.
But like we just want people to enjoy training and just any way we can help them psychologically or mentally, we'll do it.
Yeah.
On top of that, so it's more the feel good factor than anything, and
Sweet.
and that's just what it's all about.
All right. Well, cheers for coming on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dad.
Pleasure to meet you, and let's get talk about t-shirts.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Cheers.
Okay, Matt.